There's a particular classification of puzzle modification that I haven't really given a whole lot of thought to throughout not only this series, but pretty much my entire channel, and that is the Nightmare Bandage Cube. What am I doing? I only need to take one off. Sorry, it's a habit. This is actually a really cool modification, and it's something that I feel like I need to make a video on. But I wasn't just going to do a regular 3x3 modification with a hidden bandage mechanism. I wanted to try something a little different and put my own spin on the design. A little while ago, I built a puzzle called the Cube. I say built, really I just stickered, but I really liked that puzzle and I wanted to do another version of it that was even harder to solve. I wanted to do that exact same modification, but I wanted to throw a bandage cube into the mix, but I didn't want to make it very obvious as to how the pieces were bandaged. Now, as far as how I did the actual mod, I first rubbed all the pieces down with some Scotch-Brite. The reason I do this, it seems a little unnecessary, but it's because some pieces have tiny ridges on the surface that I like to get rid of. Plus, I actually like the look of the pieces after doing this, but maybe that's just me. And after I did that, I cut all the stickers out for each of the pieces. This seems a little backwards, seeing as how I need to do the bandage mod, but the reason I'm doing this is because I like to sticker up my puzzles piece by piece, and I wouldn't be able to do that if some of them were already joined together. Or at least I wouldn't be able to do it as well. After I had finished cutting out all of the stickers, I finally had another Cube. Although it has to be said that this is technically a 9-color cube, the Cube is a different shaped puzzle, it just has the same layout. So effectively it's the same puzzle, it just looks a little different, which is kinda like pretty much everything that I've been building for the last 4 years. Huh. How about that? Let's move on. I disassembled everything and I began the bandage part of the modification, which I have to say was incredibly difficult, seeing as how I was referencing a seemingly arbitrary color scheme, but eventually I got everything together. The way that I was bandaging the pieces is I was dripping some superglue into the mechanism part of the puzzle, but I wasn't gluing together the actual cubies themselves. Aesthetically, this puzzle is pretty much no different to the original 9-color cube that I built, but I kinda like the fact that now it's bandaged, which makes it even harder to solve. And it's not even the bandaging that's the most difficult thing about this puzzle. The fact that it's a 9-color cube, and even in its solved state it already kinda looks scrambled, makes it even harder to identify which pieces are joined together. What I mean by this is when you scramble the regular Nightmare Bandage Cube, which is in the traditional Rubik's Cube color scheme, once you start mixing everything up, you can kinda see which pieces are already joined because they're always gonna be next to one another. But with all the pieces on this puzzle, pretty much everything looks scrambled 100% at the time. The only possible way that you could identify which pieces weren't joined together is if you had two of the same color right next to each other, which is of course impossible in the solved state. But apart from that, I think this is probably one of the most complex puzzles that I've made to date in terms of how to solve it, but mechanically it's pretty much no different to a regular Rubik's Cube. But anyways, I hope you guys like this puzzle, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.